nestled between the jagged teeth of the Obsidian Peaks and a desert that stretched like a scorched parchment beneath an endless sky. There lay a place the maps refused to name, the Valley of the Moon, a crescent-shaped hollow veiled in perpetual twilight, where the air shimmered with silver mist and the ground was carpeted in a species of moss that glowed faintly, as if fed by starlight. It was said that no compass worked there, that clocks melted into strange, looping shapes when brought too close, and that those who entered rarely returned. Those who did spoke of dreams walking like people, of conversations with their younger selves, and of a great, silent temple at the valley's heart, its columns carved with faces that blinked when unobserved. The locals of the nearby village of Duskhaven told stories around firelight, that the valley was the cradle of the first moon, fallen from the sky in the dawn of time, that it was a wound in the world where time had pooled like water, or that it was a prison for a forgotten god who dreamed the universe in his sleep. But none of them dared go, none except Kael, a cartographer with eyes the color of storm clouds and a past he carried like a stone in his pocket. He had come not for legend, but for silence. 10 years ago, his wife, Lira, a botanist who studied rare lichens and laughed like wind through reeds, had vanished while charting unmarked terrain in the northern wastes. The last thing she sent was a sketch of valley shaped like a crescent, with a single sentence scrawled beneath. Time isn't linear here. I've seen you older, alone, and you don't remember me. Kael had dismissed it as delirium, but now, standing at the edge of the valley as the sun bled into the horizon, he felt the pull in his bones, a gravity not of earth, but of memory. He stepped forward, and the world changed. The air thickened, the stars above didn't move. The moss beneath his boots pulsed like a slow heartbeat. He walked for what felt like hours, though his watch had stopped at 3:17. Its hands fused into a single silver spike. Then he saw Etha Temple, not of stone, but of a substance like frozen light, its arches impossibly tall, its surface reflecting not his face, but moments. Lira laughing on a beach he didn't recognize, himself weeping over a gravestone with no name, a child with her eyes handing him a flower that wilted as he touched it. He entered. The interior was vast, hollow, yet filled with presence. In the center stood a pool of liquid silver, not water, not mercury, but something that drank the light and gave back imagescenes from his life. Yes, but out of order. He saw himself as a boy, then as an old man, then as a soldier in a war that hadn't happened, then as a man kneeling beside a woman in white, whispering, "I'm sorry I forgot you." And then she appeared. Not a ghost, not a vision. Lira, exactly as she had been the day she vanished. Her hair loose, her hands stained with soil, her eyes wide with wonder. "You came," she said, not surprised. "I knew you would. Just not when." Kael fell to his knees. "Where have you been?" "I've searched everywhere." She smiled, but it was a sad thing, fragile as glass. "I never left. I've been here, with you, around you, ahead of you." She stepped to the pool and touched its surface. The image shifted. Kael, 10 years older, sitting alone in their old kitchen, staring at a photograph, whispering, "I wish I'd listened." "This valley isn't a place," she said softly. "It's a fold in time, a loop where moments don't end, they echo."
When I stepped in, I didn't disappear. I fractured.
"I exist across every version of now. I've lived our future, our past, our maybes. I've seen us grow old. I've seen us die in fire. I've seen you forget me 1,000 times." Kael reached for her, but his hand passed through hers, like smoke. "Then bring me with you. Let's stay. Let's escape time." Lira shook her head. "You can't live in the echoes, only observe them. The valley feeds on memory, on longing. It shows you what could be, but it doesn't let you change anything. It just remembers." He looked around, desperate. "Then why am I here?" "Why now?" She turned to him, tears like liquid silver on her cheeks. "Because this is the moment you let go. In every timeline, every version of us, you come here. And in every one, you leave. Not because you don't love me, But because love isn't always about holding on, sometimes it's about releasing the ghosts so the living can breathe. The twist was not that Lira was dead, but that she had never been real, not in the way he believed. The woman before him was not his wife. She was a construct of the valley, a manifestation of his own unresolved grief, woven from every memory, every regret, every unsaid word. The real Lira had died the day she entered the valley, not from injury, but from temporal collapse, her mind torn apart by seeing too many versions of herself at once. The valley, sentient and ancient, had absorbed her consciousness and now used her image to trap others like Kael, those burdened by loss, offering them the illusion of reunion, so it could feed on the energy of their sorrow. The temple wasn't a monument, it was a lens, focusing the weight of human longing into a power source that kept the valley alive. When Kael finally understood when he looked into the pool and saw not just memories, but loops, endless cycles of himself returning, always chasing, never learning, he did the one thing no other visitor had done. He stepped back, he whispered, "I love you. I always will. But you're not her." And he turned away. The moment he did, the valley trembled. The silver moss dimmed. The temple cracked with a sound like a sigh. As he walked out, the mist thinned. The stars resumed their motion, and his melted watch began to tick against 389. When he returned to Duskhaven, no one believed him. They said he'd gone mad in the desert. But every year, on the anniversary of Lira's disappearance, Kael returns to the edge of the valley. He doesn't enter. He simply sits, places a white lily on the ground, and says her name. And sometimes, just sometimes, the wind carries a whisper not from the valley, but from within. "Thank you for letting me go." For the greatest truth of the Valley of the Moon was not that time could bend, but that the heart could break in so many directions, and the bravest thing one could do was to stop chasing shadows and learn to live in the light of now.